YouTube, what is good? It is your boy, Zach Zebra, and today we're talking about arms. More specifically, shoulders and arms, as I take you guys through a little bit of a delt, bicep, and tricep workout from a couple of days ago. An intense session, to say the least. Chances are in the title I'm using something along the lines of how to get bigger arms or how to get massive arms, something like that, clickbaity. But I would just like to stress the fact that when it comes to making your arms look bigger in this world of fitness, bodybuilding, and illusion, because that's really what this is all about, making your arms seem bigger, you cannot neglect your shoulders, your delts. Front delt, side delt, and rear delt. All three different angles. It's important. When you get bigger shoulders, your arms are going to naturally look bigger. So I just thought it would be appropriate, to just touch upon that as we, go through some shoulder presses here. And you guys are going to see, what type of exercises I choose on a day where I'm training shoulders and something like arms. Now, on this day specifically, I don't know what was going on. I'm about to enter a set of maximum effort reps with the hundreds, and I was really hoping to try to hit 20 reps today. But what I was going to touch upon is the fact that I don't know if it was something that I ate, if I was just really carbed up, or perhaps had a lot of sodium before this workout. But the pump was very detrimental. Like, I'm all about getting a pump in the gym, but when you get to the point where you can't lift your arms anymore, or, it's lactic acid buildup and it's just straight pain, I've always found that to be a bit of a distraction in my workouts. Like, I love getting a ridiculous chest pump, I like getting a crazy bicep pump, shoulder pump, etc. But when it's like early on in the workout, and in this case, like on that set of 100s, it just felt awkward. I got a pump really early on from just the few warm-up sets that I did. It was kind of ridiculous to where, I had a lot of lactic acid. And even pressing the hundreds, watching the clips right here, like my range of motion wasn't, completely fantastic. Like I could have went a lot lower, similar to what you're seeing in this set right here. But I have a really long wingspan. And I'd like to think that by filling out over time, I have truly mastered that illusion by filling out my shoulders, getting my biceps larger and getting my triceps to grow in a fashion to where my arms aren't sticks anymore. And at 6 feet tall, my wingspan is probably close to that. I don't know, maybe it's longer. I've never really measured my wingspan. But I'm in a position right now where I'm not really trying to get much more massive. Like, I don't want to add a lot more size. I'm pretty okay in terms of, like, my muscle mass that I'm carrying around. I have not weighed myself in, like, close to a year. Dead ass. I have no idea what my body weight is. All I know is that I'm lean. And despite being extremely lean, I am strong as hell right now. I feel really good. And I would say my main goal is to continue to maintain my aestheticism, keeping my waist as tiny as possible. And this is a perfect clip to see it. Like, I have a relatively narrow frame, but over time, by adding size to my arms and to my shoulders, I have managed to turn a narrow frame into, something that's kind of three-dimensional, almost cloud-looking. And I just owe all of that to filling out my muscle bellies over time, and it's been a process. This has taken time. But yeah, different variations of side lateral raises that you guys are seeing. I've got long-ass arms, and so I mess around with my form a lot in terms of lateral raises. There's times I get really reckless with my form, and I have a lot of elbow bend. You're not seeing anything like that today. I like doing them seated from time to time. Sometimes I like doing one arm at a time. And it's something that I just mess around with a lot, having such long ass arms. Now, I personally do not do a lot of front delt work today, presently. My front delts tend to overpower my rear delts, and there was a long period of time where I actually was like staying away from rear delt exercises and reverse pec deck exercises because I was having a little bit of some shoulder problems. However, now we are back to hitting rear delts full swing. And I usually enjoy starting my shoulder workouts with rear delt exercises before going into the pressing or going into anything else. I just like having blood in there. I feel like it's kind of good for injury prevention for someone like me. In this workout, however, with how I had it planned out, we started with the pressing movement. We did the lateral raise and finished off with the rear delt fly. And soon we will be getting into triceps. And on a day like this, where it's a Friday, I hit shoulders once a week. At times, I've been touching arms. At times, I've been like, hey, let's hit biceps. Let's hit some triceps too and get a cute little pump in the gym before the weekend, because I'm not big on hitting arms. You know, after my chest workouts are pretty high volume to begin with, so there are times where I just leave the gym and I'm like, yeah, we're not hitting triceps today. My triceps got enough work from all of the chest pressing that I did earlier in the workout. Biceps, you guys know me, like I got them, but I don't hit them religiously. The past handful of weeks, however, I've been touching biceps, like not necessarily for growth, but to just bring blood in and to, you know, bring out some of the vascularity. And I feel like it helps my separation when I go to hit a front double bicep, or I just pose. By hitting biceps from time to time, I just have better control. I have better control over my biceps. I don't get as fatigued in terms of my biceps during my back workout, so I'm seeing benefits from touching them. And as long as my arms don't turn out to be like 23 inches out of nowhere, I think that I'm okay in terms of like holding on to my aesthetics. I'm not looking to compete or anything. I'm just trying to build my own visual representation of the perfect physique that I am capable of building. With my genetics that I have, with my looks, etc. This is all about aesthetics. So, first exercise that we're performing, skull crushers. And much like the lateral raises earlier, I've got a lot of different approaches from workout to workout in terms of skull crushers. There are times where I try to religiously keep my elbows tucked in close to my body, but when you have 20-inch arms, that can be difficult. So you are seeing quite a bit of elbow flare, but I want you guys to take notice to my range of motion. How much my elbows are truly bending throughout the exercise, especially with this camera angle. You know, looking at it, I could have gotten deeper, but I wanted to substitute heavier weight with the restriction of perfect form on this day. I just felt beastly and I wanted to train heavy, guys. Call it ego, call it whatever you want. I'm very well acquainted with my body, and I backed off on the weight. As you can see here, I tried to have more control on the negative, a slight pause at the bottom, and a full contraction of the tricep at the top. And this, skull crushers, you can't go wrong. They are a perfect mass building exercise. I like using the barbell too. I like using straight bars. I like using dumbbells for skull crushers. However, this easy bar was the way to go today. I was having some wrist, not pain, but like I was aware of my wrist being a bit irritated, so using the easy bar was the way to go. Moving into a single arm French press or a single arm dumbbell extension, whatever you guys want to call this. My camera's extra dark for this clip for some reason. My autofocus was taking a dump on me throughout the workout, and I had to mess with it. But this is another great mass building exercise. Like, in terms of triceps, there's a lot of shit you can come up with. There's a lot of stuff that you can do, whether it's with free weights or cables for constant resistance, and just overall getting the stretch. And once again, having long arms, my range of motion is huge on exercises like this. If you compare it to a short dude, like someone who's got really short T-Rex arms, or someone that's like 5'5", 5'6", their range of motion is much different than a person like me. And for me, I have to really focus on the stretch. I have to really focus on, my elbow bending. And there are different approaches that I have to an exercise like this at times. There's times where I try to keep my elbow completely perpendicular to the floor or to the ceiling, I guess, and try to keep it as straight and stuck in the same place as possible. But there's also times where I try to go heavy on those single arm exercises. Like there's been times that I went up to 75 pounds for a single arm dumbbell extension. But obviously you're going to have a lot more elbow bend. Your elbow is not going to point directly at the ceiling. And you can sometimes instinctively loosen your form to use heavier weight. As long as you're acquainted with your body and you've practiced the exercises efficiently, there's nothing wrong with that from time to time. So finishing off with a cable extension. I can do these all day, man. Like cable extensions, another great way to isolate your triceps. You can mess around with your form once again, bringing your hips closer to the cable, standing further away from the machine, even bringing your upper body lower to the floor. There's a lot of different ways you can change this exercise so that you're not doing it the same exact way every single time. But a cable extension, obviously a staple in terms of triceps exercises. So there we go, 3 triceps exercises. And if I remember correctly, I believe that I planned 3 bicep exercises on this specific day as well, because I did actually have this workout planned in my notes before going in and hitting this. I may have even had like 4 exercises planned out for shoulders, triceps, and biceps. Regardless, I think that I only hit the 3. So, preacher curl. One of my favorite bicep exercises of all time. Besides a normal standing alternating curl, a preacher curl just allows you to isolate. It allows you to focus. Especially when you're doing one arm at a time, it allows you to get that full stretch and then get that peak contraction at the very top. I just like this exercise. It agrees with me. Once again, my range of motion, I think, is much greater than other people's. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm crazy in saying that, but you can see the length of my forearm. It's almost awkward how long my forearm is from my elbow to my wrist. It's just long and weird. I don't know. And it can make it difficult for me to isolate certain body parts. For a long time, I struggled to isolate my back as a result of how long my arms are. But over time, I have just practiced, and I have had to really focus in on isolating the muscle that I'm trying to work. And on a day like this, hitting the biceps, it's no problem on a preacher curl. My form gets a little bit ugly. My range of motion does suffer a little bit, but I try not to completely straighten my arm to where I'm going to tear that bitch. And that's one of my biggest fears. I just talked to a guy at the gym who tore his bicep hunting and moving a deer by himself. And it just scares the hell out of me. Like, I pray that I never, knock on wood, tear a bicep because, it has an effect on the way that it looks and the shape of it for the rest of your years after the fact. I've never seen a bicep tear recover and look pretty after the fact. Usually it can be pretty detrimental, and I try to be careful, I can do 80-pound preacher curls. Like, I didn't go up to that today because obviously, This is about hypertrophy, and I'm trying to stimulate a little bit of some growth and bring blood into the muscle. I'm not trying to do 3 reps on the preacher curl like I would be if I was trying to do 80 pounds or something ridiculous like that. But maybe one day you guys will see some clips of me trying to curl some really heavy weights, maybe the hundreds one day. But 45 pounds, 50 pounds, 55 pounds, that's usually a pretty good area for me to resonate in terms of like a curl and in terms of like getting the most out of the exercise. It's a smaller muscle group, guys. Your biceps and your triceps, they're very strong, but they don't require a ton of weight in terms of hypertrophy and muscle growth. The biggest thing I've learned with biceps is to really allow the negative to do the work. Don't just drop the weight down and tear your shit. Control it. Be slow, methodical as you lower the weights on any given exercise. Even this machine curl that I'm doing here, I'm doing one arm at a time again, trying my best to isolate the bicep, have a slow negative to where my bicep's controlling the weight as it goes down. And these are the basics. If you want big biceps, you gotta do some curls. There's so many variations out there. All you gotta do is get on the Google machine or even visit my channel and type in Zach Zeiler biceps workout. And I'm sure there will be a ton of different workouts that come up and different exercises that you guys can try. And believe it or not, I did not film my cable curls for this workout. So I guess I lied in saying that I did 3 exercises for shoulders, 3 exercises for triceps, and 3 for biceps. Given the footage, apparently I only did 2 exercises for biceps. But then again, guys, like I mentioned before, I'm not trying to get explosive, gigantic arms right now, currently. I'm just touching upon them. So I guess my mentality was, we're touching biceps. We don't need to do 3 exercises. If I were to choose one off the top of my head right now, it absolutely would have been an easy curl, cable curl. So one of those bars that you can grip with both your hands that has a bend in it. I would have stood in the same place where I did the triceps cable extension, and I would have done sets of 10 to 12, 10 to 15 with a cable curl to finish off, and that would have been more than enough. But apparently I had enough of a pump to where I felt the need to go do some posing and finish off with the workout. So that's about it, guys. You want big arms. Don't just focus on your biceps. Be sure to implement a lot of triceps isolation, and don't neglect your shoulders. Focus on increasing your time under tension. Don't rush through your sets and your exercises. Make them last. Make sweet, sweet love to them bitches. Don't rush through your sets. Try to engage as much as possible and have conversation with your bicep and with your tricep when you're training them. But right now, guys, this new year, it's already February by the time I'm posting this video, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good with the package that I have right now. I'm excited for the summer because I'm only going to improve leading into the summertime. I have a lot of things that I want to try with YouTube in terms of my content in the near future. A lot of it including me getting on camera and just talking about topics here in my office, doing some Q&As, but, the basis of it will be me talking to you guys about some real life shit, different topics that you guys want me to touch upon, and just sharing different stories and experiences from things that I've been going through, because it's safe to say that, like, my personal life, I haven't been able to share a lot in terms of my personal life the past several years. And it's just been a lot of workout, gym footage. And I guess that's okay. It's the basis of the channel. But I want to be more personable with you guys. Maybe throw together a couple of different vlogs and what have you. But obviously these voiceovers are fun to do. And I plan on doing these as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your boy, Zach Zeiler. I love you guys so much. Until next time, peace out. Bye.